seeing news stories, commercial real estate vacancies may be coming to a crisis. Will this be an event, and how would you prepare? Certainly is an event in the REIT industry. There's a number of real estate investment trusts that are public that will be in very big trouble, and they've already started seeing them sell off. Some of them are looking very much on sale already. What you have to ask yourself is what we taught you on events. Number one, do you understand the business? And number two, is this an event that will be completed and over with within 3 years? And if you're not sure of when this event is going to end, then that's really problematic and starts to increase risk. We try to be very sure that we know the event will be over in 3 years. I heard one of your podcasts, if you have less than 100, go for options. I would say at 30, it's your call. You're very young. You've got lots of years. But if you'd like to go for early financial freedom, then I would say the best way to move that 20,000 to a point where you're really starting to build real capital is to do options. You can go after a much more aggressive rate of return in this market. Now, when the market craters, you want to be in cash when it craters or get there quickly. And then you want to load up the truck. Getting a 30% compounded return for the next 10 years is completely on the table. If you can, just pick 10 decent companies that are on sale. Very hard to do 30% per year consistently. So getting that for 10 years, I mean, think about what that does to 20 grand. It would double it. 30% doubles your money every 2.5 years. So you'd have 5 doubles in 10 years. So 20 grand would go to 40, 80, 160, 320, 640,000 over that time period. That's pretty decent for 20 grand and 10 years later. Now, of course, you're going to also want to be saving money and pouring it in there. And I think what you'll find is the higher the rates of return you're getting, the more effortless savings becomes because you can see the impact of it. There's an old story about Warren Buffett in an elevator with some guys from an insurance company that were on his floor or on the floor above him. And he got in the elevator and looked down and saw a penny. And these guys all looked down at what he was looking at and saw the penny. And everybody was thinking, was Warren Buffett going to pick up a penny? And he didn't. And then he got to his floor and he stepped out and then turned around, looked back and picked up the penny and held it up for these guys and said, beginning of the next billion. And it's because he knows the power of compounding and has a high degree of confidence he can do it, that picking up a penny would actually make a little bit of sense. Wouldn't make sense for somebody that makes 2% a year. Given the recent news around Bitcoin ETF, which is something that just happened, does your perspective change on Bitcoin investments? So the SEC has just now permitted exchange traded fund to be a Bitcoin exchange traded fund. Now this is not a place where you would sell and buy Bitcoin. It is a fund that you would own, that you would buy and sell with dollars. And it will own Bitcoin the way, more or less, GLD as an ETF owns gold. So this is the gold ETF. And so when you buy with dollars some portion of the gold ETF, GLD, they go out and they buy gold bars and they put those gold bars in a vault in London. So you theoretically own some share of those gold bars, although you would never be able to collect it, I'm quite certain. Too many layers in there between the ETF and those gold bars. I think the same thing will apply to Bitcoin. You don't actually own the Bitcoin. You just own an exchange traded fund that owns a right to some Bitcoins. We'll see how it goes. Some people I've read think it's going to make the market much more volatile because you can get out of Bitcoin ETF like that. They have to give you your money exactly immediately, and they cannot. And so in order to give you your money, they have to sell Bitcoin. So the question is going to be whether that market is liquid enough for them to liquidate. if they start to try to liquidate Bitcoin and they can't liquidate it fast enough, those ETFs are not going to be able to deliver money to people, and you're going to see another big financial crisis. So we shall see what happens there. And I don't consider it an investment per se any more than I consider gold an investment per se. I would much rather own a whole crap load of oil companies and all the ag land in America than all the gold in the world. But hey, that's just me. Other people want to, they want to have a piece of gold. And I do have a little bit of gold in the portfolio. So, okay, I get it.